All right, hello everybody. My name is Dr. Nguyen Tran, and once again, welcome to my channel. And I know I did a few video on explanation of how to do proper push-up, but I think I had never break it down to a different part and what's more important. And lately, I noticed a lot of my patients having really weak glute, and you hear about the core all the time, but we never break it down and say what is the core. But for me, I feel like the glute is a big part of the core that I usually overlook. So let me break it down to you guys, and hopefully you guys can get a better exercise and prevent as much injury you can while you do this exercise. So let's start with the push-up. So normally with push-up, make sure we always have to make sure that your shoulders over your wrist and your hand, and depending on what muscle you want to focus on. Wide grip or narrow hand, and make a push-up good. So when you do a push-up, you have to make sure that you don't put entire weight on your upper body, because you have to get your leg involved. And then make sure you have good flexibility. If you don't, your foot involved here, so squeeze your, and for you to keep the back flat, we have to squeeze out glute. And you can see the way our body works when you lift your body up is your back muscle, your glute, and your opposite hamstrings actually interact, squeeze to give you a good stability of the hip and the pelvic. But due to prolonged sitting, usually the glute is underused. This is called the glute maximus. It's one of the biggest muscles in the body, but you usually rarely use them. And I notice many of my patients doesn't know how to use that glute. Even some of them have really good glute. They do a lot of exercise to make it strength, the glute, but when they put into, for example, Pilates leg lift, that glute doesn't fire. So just because you have it doesn't mean your body uses it right. And that's what compensation is all about. When you have poor posture and you use the wrong posture over time, your body skips a certain muscle. So even when you go exercise and strengthen that muscle, but if you never put it back into the equation, you still never use it right. So let's show you the proper push-up positions. Is like this. Squeeze here, put more weight under your foot. So lock your knee out, squeeze your glute, straighten your body, and then from here, lower yourself. And one thing I notice a lot beside the glute is the neck, because the hardest part is when you bend all the way and get up. So we don't have a lot of strength when you fold your arm all the way here. From here, you have a lot of strength, but from here, it takes a lot more energy. So I notice people who doesn't do push-up regularly and have a weak arm, you tend to go down to here, and then you take your neck down like that. And it puts tremendous amount of strain here. So make sure you tuck your chin, your head and your shoulder should be one piece. When you do push-up, the neck and the shoulder shouldn't be separate like this. So tuck your chin in, lock your elbow, lock your knee, squeeze your glute, lift your sternum down, up like this, and lower yourself. You see, so most thing that moving are my wrist, my shoulder, and my elbow. Now you see, push-up is easy, but it's very complex. Just showing you that how complex the human body is. For us to do all this, perform all this function, the brain works like crazy. There's so many nerve that fire and so many muscles that coordinate together. But today we only focus on this part, the glute. And same thing with plank, push-up, plank, a lot of the ab exercise, roll out, you need to make sure your glute is fire. So let's show the plank, for example. Same thing, similar position, but you only on your elbow. But when you lift yourself up like this, same thing, you have to squeeze your glute to flat it out like that. So if you can fire the glute, these are some of the exercise you can do to wake up and activate your glute. So I would lie flat down your back like so. And if I ask you to squeeze your glute, many of my patients do this. See, that's not my glute that's working. It's my hamstring, my calf, and my ab. See? So make sure first thing first is your leg have to relax. Okay, your quad and your calf your hamstring is not firing. From here, imagine there's a walnut between your butt cheek, and all you want to do is squeeze them together. There you go. You see, so you can see how I squeeze my butt to lift my hip up, but my knee is relaxing. It's not this, it's this. And relax slowly. Squeeze all the way and go down slowly. And remember, do it slow, because when you do it so fast, the weak muscle never have a chance to activate. So take your time, slowly squeeze it. Squeeze it, and some of you might only have 20-30% of the activation right now, but you practice enough, you get them more and more muscle activate. And then when you can activate the muscle well, then you can grow on it. So slowly squeeze it all the way up, hold it, and slowly let it down. And when you get really good at it, you can squeeze right and left by itself, but squeeze it so you can feel the glute activating. And I would do set at 25 and take a break and do another set at 25. And if you do them right, the next day you should feel some soreness. If you work on any muscle and the next day you don't feel anything, that means you didn't do enough or you didn't hit the right muscle. So that's why the glute is extremely important for you to do planks, even some of these ab exercise. For example, you might have some of the exercise that you have the wheel to roll out like this, or like this. And if your glute are not activating well, then you put your back muscle overwork, and that's where you have some back pain. In my opinion, most of our muscle in the back, these guys, especially these guys, are overused. They're not weak. But the only way for you to improve your back is wake up all the muscle around the body that's supposed to help the back to activate, including your glute. Then the back can take a little break. And then when you work the glute well, then work on your leg muscle as well. Because your leg work more, your back work less. So same when you do push-up, if you can, and then when you get to practice the glute well, then you can get in this position. And remember, just because you can activate the glute laying on the glute, it's easier because you have some weight. But when you turn around and see, you can still squeeze it. If you can't squeeze them like that, then go back to here and practice more. It's much easier to activate a muscle when you can feel it because you're laying on top of it. But when you turn it over, this position is a completely different story. So make sure you get really good at the other way, then flip over here and squeeze and try the same thing. And when you can do them well, then that's when you start to push up again. So lay flat here, and then for those of you who have trouble doing push up, you can just start here first and just lift yourself up like that. And then when you get stronger, then you can squeeze your glute, tie your hip up, squeeze your glute, and lift yourself up and lower your. Then start push up like this. Okay, but make sure push up like this. Okay, not like that. That's not push up. That's praying. Anyway, that's about the glute. So you, one way or the other, you have to get the glute activated and work really well. The stronger they are, the less stress you have on your back. And also it helps you to stabilize and strengthen your core. Because one of the patients I had many years ago, she loved Pilates, but the more she do it, the worse her back get because her glute doesn't work. Now, see, her glute muscle is there. It's just when every single time she lift her leg up and do any leg lift, it doesn't activate. So just because you have muscle doesn't mean they used correctly. Especially if you have some kind of, back pain or a poor posture sitting for so long, and you start going to the gym and work out the glute later on. So you get them stronger, but you never put them in to work at a team. Just like you have a team, like say basketball, and then one of the player you have a new player, right? So he trained really well by himself, but if you never put him in a team and play together, and they don't coordinate well, he's useless. Same thing with the muscle we have. Sometimes we work on single muscle at the gym, but we never put them together to work sync at a whole in your body. Then you actually create more problem than good. All right, so I hope that helped. And once again, if you have any other questions, do not hesitate to write a comment, and we're more than happy to reply and make it work for you.